Whelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory have been serving Quad City families and veterans since 1889. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes are located in Rock Island, Milan, and Reynolds, and are proud supporters of WQPT. Alternatives is a proud supporter of WQPT and has been serving our community for 40 years. Alternatives provides professional guidance to maintain independence and quality of life for older adults and adults with disabilities.
What can be done after trauma strikes the classroom? And step outside to play the piano in the cities. We are a nation still in grief, as each school year we find our children, often huddled together, targeted by people with no regard for life. Often heavily armed, often suffering some mental illness, always too dangerous to imagine. But our children are facing so many life and death images and situations that it's having an impact on our society every day. Suicides are up, shootings are numbingly common, and relief can be hard to come by. That's where the Iowa Center for School Mental Health at the University of Iowa is becoming a valuable resource. Not only is the group offering counseling services at schools that are facing trauma, it's also studying trends and finding ways to turn its research into better one-on-one practices. We talked with University of Iowa Clinical Associate Professor Carrie Vogel-Gisang, who is also the director at the Center for School Mental Health. Well, as you can understand, I mean, there's a lot of people thinking that there is a mental health crisis in America, but also in the schools as well. Do you agree with that? I mean, is it a problem that we're just not addressing?
Yeah, so in 2021, we had pediatricians, child psychologists, children's hospitals declare a national state of emergency with youth mental health. So I do believe in our professional organizations that we attach ourselves to and we receive research from. These groups highlighted things such as suicide being the second leading cause of death of youth, ages 10 to 24, excuse me, and that they've seen higher rates of loneliness, anxiety, depression, trauma, suicidality in our youth. So yeah, I do think that we're moving into a crisis right now with our youth and their state of mental health.
Well, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why the Center for School Mental Health was created in Iowa. I mean, you're a relatively new organization. Tell me how important it is and why this didn't exist before.
Well, that's a great question. We actually wanted to exist before. We saw over the past decade, we've seen about a 53% increase in the number of students contemplating suicide. We've seen a steady increase in like some of the issues that I was describing before: loneliness, anxiety, depression, hospitalization due to emotional mental health issues. So we have actually been seeing an increase in emotional psychological issues in our youth for quite a while now, and we were working really hard with our dean. There are a few of my colleagues and myself working hard with our deans to secure some funds to open up this center. And my dean worked really, really hard with the Department of Education, Dean Clay, to secure even more funds so that we could open up our doors and provide the types of services that we actually were in many ways already providing to schools.
Do you consider, I mean, when you think of first responders, you think of police and firefighters, do you consider yourselves almost second responders, that you're there right afterwards? Is that your hope?
Actually, I consider teachers first responders. When you think about first responders and the first person responding to the signs and symptoms of a crisis, then oftentimes we see that teachers are that person. When you think about the amount of time that students spend with our teachers on a daily basis in our schools and in our classrooms, it's overwhelming, really. It's more time than they spend with their parents. So making sure that teachers are healthy and that teachers understand what emotional, physical, mental, psychological health and well-being is, and how to take care of themselves and how to transcend that knowledge into the classroom is absolutely critical. It's a critical piece of this.
Well, I mean, people are going to say it's sad that you exist and it's sad that teachers have to do this. I mean, is it just this is the way it is in 2022?
I don't think it's just 2022, to be honest. I think that we have not done a very good job for a very long time on how to teach people how to accurately identify their emotions and feelings and how to sit with them and process them in a therapeutic way. I think we're seeing some things, some other things in our communities right now that are exacerbating this problem. But I think this has been a long time coming. If we paint this picture that life should just be full of happiness, that's false. That's not how life is. Life is actually pretty hard, and you're going to experience a range of emotions day in and day out. And if we don't really take the time to teach people how to, again, sit with all of their emotions, the range that they're going to feel on a day in and day out basis, then it's going to be really hard for people to make healthy decisions for themselves on a daily basis.
We've been seeing the rate of suicide increasing among our youth, I believe, and that's just another sign of what? Unmet mental health?
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of the things that I was just referring to. When you feel like you're stuck in an emotion, in an unpleasant emotion for an extended period of time, and you feel like you don't have any way out of that, then you sometimes make really horrific decisions. So again, it's really taking the time to get people to understand how to accurately identify those feelings and then give them the skills, tools, strategies to pull themselves with some supports that are in place out of those moments in time that are really, really difficult and heavy.
Well, as we said, you're a relatively new organization based at the University of Iowa, about a year, and one of your first big tests was Fairfield schools, Fairfield being a place where a teacher was killed by two people. Police have arrested two students, and thereby you have a direct link in both ways, the teacher and perhaps the assailants both attending school. What have you done at Fairfield, and what have you learned already from the accomplishments that you've had?
Yeah, so we went into Fairfield initially with a group of counselors who were there just to work with the teachers and students in a variety of ways. Provide counseling services. We offered some professional development and training, most of which had to do with social, emotional, behavioral, mental health, and well-being. And we've continued to provide different types of counseling services to both to the faculty, staff, and students in that school community. I'm working hard with them right now to iron out a professional development plan that will expand through the entire course of next school year. We'll be working through some of the things that we've already talked about, accurately identifying emotions, how to process emotions. We'll be working on a wellness plan, and I'll be teaching those teachers, not only those strategies to apply in their own lives, but then how to transcend those skills and strategies into their classroom. And then they'll be doing some Wellness Wednesdays with their students and teaching their students some of those skills and strategies as well.
Now, of course, that shooting didn't happen, or I'm sorry, that murder didn't happen in the school. It happened at a city park away from the school. But still, it does go directly into the classroom, does it not? And how do you reach out to those people at the very beginning?
Yeah, I mean, schools are a central part of our community. So no matter where that incident took place within that community, particularly since it's such a small community, it definitely impacts that school and that school community directly. And the start is to go in and get a pulse for how everybody's feeling, how everybody's processing information, and then also who have they connected to already. So we know that the AEA, the Area Education Agency, who serves Fairfield, was already there doing really great work. But this is about partnership. It's about expanding the capacity of services to our schools and making sure that wherever there's some holes or gaps in services, that we can come in and kind of shore things up and get them through whatever crises they're experiencing.
Well, as I said, the Center for School Mental Health is based at the University of Iowa. So you're actually doing two things. Not only are you providing mental health, you're also using this for research to learn from these traumas.
Yeah, always, right? So that's always the goal, is to wrap research around anything that we're doing. Research isn't helpful unless it improves practice. So we're always being very careful about, collecting that data and analyzing it, not even on a weekly basis, but, a daily basis. My one of co-directors of one of my colleagues and co-director of the center, Dr. Gerta Bardoshi, is our director of research for the center. And everything I do in terms of professional development and training, and everything Dr. Alyssa Dubé does in terms of providing clinical services, we're always in connection with each other, making sure that we're collecting data to know what's working, what isn't working, how to pivot what we're doing based on the data that we're seeing. Yeah, it's an extremely important piece of this.
Are you also preventative? I mean, are you hoping that school districts contact you now rather than after an incident?
100%. That's the goal. We're very hopeful that we can go into schools along with our AAAs and have discussions with them about what kind of social, emotional, behavioral, and mental health plans they already have in place. If they have a curriculum, what that curriculum is and how it's serving them. We're hopeful that they take advantage of free professional development and training opportunities that we're running through the center and through their area education or agencies as well. So things such as youth suicide prevention, youth mental health first aid, QPR training. We're hopeful that we do work with schools on the front end of things in a preventative way, for sure. And we're trying to do things in a way that, not only gets the word out, but they can do it at no cost, very low cost. And they also can receive some free teacher licensure renewal credit too, if they go through the training.
Let me ask you the opposite question then, because we talk about preventative. As you know, I mean, people deal with trauma and process it differently. If it happens, let's say on June 1st, children, adults may not react until August or maybe a year later or whatever. I mean, how important is it to keep in touch with these students and counselors? And how important is it for people just to keep an eye on victims, we'll say, although that's not the best word, is it? Those impacted, we'll say, months down the line?
Oh, it's extremely important, and you are very right. So when a person experiences a traumatic event in their life, then sometimes we don't see that trauma play out in their life until much later down the road. I mean, it can be years sometimes down the road, to be honest with you. So that's why it's really important to go back to prevention and make sure that the school community has all the supports in place that are needed, so that when there is a traumatic event that occurs, that they know how to use those supports in a therapeutic way. And that sometimes means teaching them how to stay in touch with the people that were impacted by that trauma, not just immediately, but long-term as well, and the different types of therapy and training that they might need in order to push through that really traumatic event.
Well, especially during the summer, because all these kids now aren't in school. The resources that are available may not be available to them during the summer.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we know that summer months can be really difficult for some families because parents have to go to work. And so there are less, maybe eyes on the child and on the activities that they're engaging in if they're not having daily contact with an adult, at least not like they would through school, all day through school, and then they come home, hopefully to a parent or to a guardian at home. it's really important for parents to think through that months before summer even hits. But even if your summer is hitting now and now's the time to reach out to organizations like your city park and recreation department, or even to your school to see what kind of summer programming they have available, or to network with different parents in your community to see what kinds of programming or opportunities are available for helping keep an eye on your children in your community.
Carrie, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you for your time too.
University of Iowa Clinical Associate Professor Carrie Vogel-Giesing, a director at the Center for School Mental Health. We are heading closer to the 4th of July, of course, but still June has a lot of fireworks of its own. Here's some cool activities that Laura Adams has on her calendar if you want to go out and about.
This is Out and About for June 17th through 23rd. The Henry County Fair in Cambridge, Illinois continues through the 19th. Lincoln Center in Davenport hosts the Quad City Juneteenth Festival the 18th from 11 to 5. Fridays at 5, enjoy Mercado on 5th Summer Market, an open-air cultural event with food, vendors, entertainment, and fun for kids. The Rock Island County Challenge Show and adult karaoke competition takes place at Runners Park starting at 5:30. The Run for Hope takes place the 18th at Veterans Memorial Park starting at 9. Take in the Belson Music Fest in Rock Falls on the 18th at RB&W District Park starting at 2. Be there for the Charlotte Blue album release party with Jay Wolfskill at River Music Experience the 18th at 7. Wide River Winery present music by Texas-based cellist Sam Day on the 19th from 3 to 5. The Rock Island Public Library present a free concert with the Front Porch Pickers on the 22nd beginning at 1. Matchbox 20 perform at the Tax Player Center the 18th. Bass Street Landing Summer Concert Series continues the 23rd with Class of 82. Step into the enchanted world of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Plus, Madagascar, a musical adventure, takes place for kids during the day. It's all at Circa 21. And Quad City Music Guild presents the musical farce Something Rotten through the 18th. For more information, visit wqpt.org.
Thank you, Laura. Jason Carl is a Quad City musician influenced by rock, folk, and blues music. It's put him on the stage as the lead of Jason Carl and the whole damn band. But he also hit the stage of Molene's Black Box Theater for us as a solo artist with an original of his own. Here's Jason Carl with Yazoo River.
I'm going down to Mississippi and up the Yazoo River in my dreams. I'm going down the Mississippi and up the Yazoo River in my dreams. Tomorrow I hope to make it down to New Orleans. I met a girl, she said her name was Penny. I said you look more like $1,000,000. She took me to a ranch and I met a maid named Dot. She said, I hope you know I think you're crazy, but good luck. I'm going down the Mississippi and up the Yazoo River in my dreams. I'm going down the Mississippi and up the Yazoo River in my dreams. Tomorrow I hope to make it down to New Orleans. Tomorrow I hope to make it down to New Orleans. Tomorrow I hope to make it down to New Orleans.
That's Jason Carl and Yazoo River. There's something interesting this summer in the music scene in the cities. You might have actually seen them. Decorated pianos sitting out in public just waiting for someone to tickle the ivories. It's part of the River Music Experience's effort to put a little music into your daily life. The RME's Jesse Rickey joins us now. This is really kind of interesting, is the fact that you've got 10 pianos that are placed all throughout the Quad City area. Where'd this idea come from?
So it actually came from a young man named John Langworthy, who came into our office just randomly last summer and asked if we would want to take his piano, if he could donate it to us for free. And he kind of had an idea attached to that we would be able to collect other pianos and spread them around the Quad Cities, just like many other piano projects around the nation, actually worldwide. And at that time, we didn't have the capability to do that. But a couple weeks later, we were in a meeting, and the idea kind of sparked up, and we had an idea to have John join the AmeriCorps program in Davenport, and then come to us through the AmeriCorps program and help lead this project. And that's exactly what he did. And it's just been amazing. It's been amazing to watch it from the day that he came in the door with this idea, and then watching him stand up and speak during the launch of having these 10 pianos. And it was just kind of his dream and his vision, and it played out exactly like he intended it to.
Well, let's be honest, RME wants to be as much in the public as possible. If you can't come to the building, to the Redstone Room, or see the exhibits, you're really getting it out into the community. What's been the reaction as far, I mean, have you walked by and that there's somebody there tickling the ivory?
We have, yes. So at the farmers market, that's probably the busiest location that I've seen, and that's wonderful. You just walk, or I kind of am watching from afar and gathering pictures, but there's just constant families and kids. We were able to capture a picture of a young boy playing, and his dad was kind of standing in the corner just admiring him. It's just an amazing way, like you said, to not have people need to come to our building to play and listen to music. We just take it to them, and so we have RME in 10 locations throughout the Quad Cities. The zoo is another great place that we have it. That's a beautiful location, and it just allows children to go up and kind of do what they've been told not to do for a very long time. Don't touch that, don't pound on that. We want them to play their little heart's desire and have fun and make their own music without kind of restrictions of any kind.
It's called the One Sound Piano Project.
Yes.
And let me be honest, is that you sometimes see these YouTube videos where there is like a piano or some instrument there, and somebody comes to it and you're going, oh, really? And then they play incredible music. I mean,
yes.
It's been kind of neat to see not only the reaction of the players who are feeding off the amazing reaction sometimes from the audience.
Exactly, and that's what we wanted to make kind of accessible, is musicians are everywhere. Yes, we have them playing at the Redstone Room and our Live at 5 programs, but they also are just walking on the streets. They're at the farmers market. They're in those crowds. They're walking in Vanderveer Park or downtown LeClaire, and they are everywhere. They're standing right next to us, and we don't even know until they sit down at that piano and have that opportunity to share their gifts with us, which is super cool.
How long the piano's going to be out there?
They're going to be out there till Labor Day on the outside locations. However, we do have quite a few, I think about half are indoor at Vanderveer for one of them, and then the Quad City Airport is another indoor location. So any of the indoor locations we're going to try to keep there inside as long as they're being utilized.
Well, and they're decorated. The pianos are decorated as well.
Yes, they are works of art. It was a cool opportunity to see the artist and the kind of musicians collaborate, and I was one who saw the pianos, you know, as we're carrying them and getting them in, being donated, and they're just these brown, beautiful pianos, but when these artists came in and just, I mean, they're literally works of art.
Yeah, it is.
They're masterpieces,
cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another big summer event, of course, for the RME, and that's Kidstock.
Kidstock, yes.
And that's coming up, and you have 3 sessions, and this has been going on for years.
It has. This is one of our signature programs. It's a great opportunity, again, for children who are told maybe, you know, don't play the drum so loud, don't do this so loud. It allows them to be rock stars. Come in, sign up. They'll be with other kids kids their age from 8 to 18, and they get a chance to form a rock band. They get to pick whatever instrument they want and just rock their little hearts out and learn by local musicians and be taught kind of the basics and be led and guided by local musicians. And at the end of each session, they get to play a concert and they get to perform in their band, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, so how does a parent or somebody, a guardian of a child, or even maybe the child themselves, contact you in regards to being part of this program? And I do know it costs money, but there are scholarships available.
There are. So they can go to our website and register. Everything's on there under education and the Kids Doc summer camps. And I believe from there they will be led to either sign up or they can contact our program director, Ben Schwind, and he can put them in the right place for any scholarships that are needed.
Well, and as we said, I mean, not only did you say this is kind of a signature event for you, it has been going on for a couple of years.
It's been going on for quite a few years, and it's just a great way to allow kids to start these bands and to bring them around other kids that have the same interest. And we do have quite a few bands out there playing gigs that have gone through our Kids Doc program.
Which is pretty cool.
It's amazing. And we actually have them, we booked them for our own concerts too, for Live at 5 and for Redstone Room shows. And
that's what I want to talk to next, is that you are out in the public again, and the public can come to Live at 5 as well as Music at the Market. Those have, you know, the Live at 5 has been successful. I mean, it's a great way to get done with work, and you're keeping downtown somewhat alive after hours.
We are. We actually had our first concert this past Friday, and there were about 250 people there. It was beautiful, and I had the opportunity just kind of to sit back and absorb all these people coming and gathering and smiling and talking and having fun. Rude Punch was the band that kicked us off. And it's a way to we have local sponsors that are able to keep these Live at 5 sponsors, or Live at 5 concerts free through sponsorships. So Northwest Bank and Trust was our sponsor this past Friday. And it just allows people to come together and, like you said, after work, start the weekend off right. It's a free concert, amazing music, beautiful weather, and just chill. Just have fun.
Because, I mean, the pandemic is now in our rearview mirror, and I always ask this about performers or people who have venues. Not only is the audience perhaps more receptive than before because they know it can be taken away from them, the performers are getting to do something they couldn't do for almost 2 years.
That's their livelihood, and it was...
And passion.
Absolutely.
It's not only a monetary thing, as you know, it's also filling the soul.
Absolutely, and you can see it on both ends. You can see and feel the passion come through, and when they're talking to that crowd, I mean, it's like they were separated for so long, and now it's coming together, and it's amazing to see. And we're just going to keep making those opportunities available, just as we are at Music at the Market when we started that this year. Great partnership with the Farmers Market, and again, just making live music accessible, and it's there. It's free, so people can enjoy it, and I've seen firsthand the smiles that it brings.
Jessie Rickey from the RME, and you can always get an update on the River Music Experience's full offerings by heading to its website, rivermusicexperience.org. On the air, on the radio, on the web, on your mobile device, and streaming on your computer. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
Whelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory have been serving Quad City families and veterans since 1889. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes are located in Rock Island, Milan, and Reynolds, and are proud supporters of WQPT. Alternatives is a proud supporter of WQPT and has been serving our community for 40 years. Alternatives provides professional guidance to maintain independence and quality of life for older adults and adults with disabilities.